Welcome, folks. In today's demonstration, we want to discuss version controlling of test cases within the DataOps Suite and how this can help achieve true CI/CD as well. Before we jump into the demonstration on how we can integrate with, say, a Git repository, how we do merges, pushes, pulls, all those things, we're going to discuss a bit of theory on how exactly you want to foresee the vision of what we want to achieve. In any enterprise deployment, be it agile or waterfall, you're bound to face a particular set of branches within your workflow. So these branches represent different states of development and different set of states of the entire pipeline or systems itself. Case in point, you'll have a main or release branch, which holds the production grade code. This is something that runs, say, every day or every week, and it's not to be touched on by a lot of end personnel. But of course, nothing is static. So there's going to be developments and requirements that keep popping through within your existing projects or products. These new requirements, in most cases, are forked into a separate branch. This could be a feature branch, this could be a dev branch, where the specific changes are done in a safe environment. These changes and updates are then tested, hopefully in an automated fashion using the suite itself. And once these test cases are performed, there's a pull request that's done. There's a report that's also generated with that. And if anything is amiss, there's of course a good amount of rework. That's the entire aspect. If there are some test cases which fail, that imply that the developer has to still update those transformations or rule sets as needed. Of course, once people are satisfied with the level of changes, these test cases and the code base, once you of course see the pull request report as well, these test cases and these corresponding set of changes are pushed into the next branch. Very rarely we have just a dev and a production branch, as there is another set of nuance that a lot of architectures and topologies follow, which is a QA branch, specifically built for doing a full testing of the system. So say you had an ETL pipeline which was working on a daily basis. Now there are tons of things that get changed on it on a weekly basis. You want to make sure that these multiple set of changes that come from different branches are being done correctly. Now here, one key aspect of reusability really shines that is kind of specific to DataOps Suite, which is that if during the development of a particular feature, there are specific test cases which are created or altered, now those same test cases can be reused within the QA branch as well. Now, of course, there's a twofold use case here. We would like to make sure that the existing transformations which are not supposed to be altered are not altered. And of course, if there are any new test cases coming into play, we can directly use them as is. There's very little actual redeployment or recreation of test cases that we have to worry about. And so the pull request at the QA branch is something that's a bit more, say, spread out, making sure that multiple types of changes and sets of changes are being done to an entire system before the code weekly release, if that's the cadence that your team potentially works on. And what these also include is the fact that when you do another merge, say within this particular example, there's yet another merge to make sure that if there are any other hot fixes in the main branch, those are being taken into account with the release branch. Once this corresponding set of changes are taken care of, there's of course end-to-end validation that we have to consider as well. So this particular report, it's a BI report illustrating that a particular report which was not supposed to change has incurred some data level changes. Of course, this is just a tip of the iceberg when we discuss ETL or BI validation for that matter. It could be that multiple different things in terms of filters, transformation logic, rule sets. There could be multiple things which are affected which should not have been affected. And catching them is, of course, one of the main aspects of QA and one of the main use cases and benefits of using DataOps Suite. Catching these problem statements before the end user catches them, and of course, helping the end user fix them as well. So that is the creativity part of branching. And of course, we're not done. We can also have UAT branches, which again run on their own environment specific to specific project use cases and a lot of other hashes towards that. But the key aspect here is, since we version control these different branches, you can have a repository kept for each and every branch, which could always be referred to when going back to particular use cases, reusing existing systems, and a lot more in terms of auditing and other aspects as well. Of course, this is a much more complicated feature set, and one key aspect here is within our demonstration, we'll be looking at things from a much more simpler perspective. That way it's easier for us to follow what we're trying to do. And the second aspect is, well, your entire project system or the data pipelines that you work with could work with a different set of branching altogether. So what I want to illustrate is something that can be reusable across multiple systems.
For further questions, feel free to reach contact@datagaps.com. Request a free demo, Scan the QR code below. Thank you.